Welcome everyone, Dr. Thor here. Get ready for Gnosis. I want to cover a very important book review of a book on psychotronics, radionics, that interesting and fascinating area, otherwise known as consciousness machines, which IGOS has specialized in for many years. And we will be coming out with some very new machines soon and lots of other information. So those interested in those areas should stay tuned. I'm the foremost expert in the world on psychotronics and have been involved in using just about every machine made for the last 100 years and have compiled huge amounts of data and practical knowledge. This is all going to be put into the next level, the next generation of psychotronic radionic consciousness machines, which will be photon based. To carry the huge energetic informational fields that you need to carry to actually make these machines work at the high level everybody wants them to. Now, amazing and wonderful mind machines you can build, move things with your mind, and other experiments by Harry Stine. Well, Harry Stine was an interesting person because of the fact that he was a rocket scientist, an actual rocket scientist, and investigated these kind of circuits, particularly the Hieronymus circuits. And he talks about that from a logical viewpoint, and he thought it was very, very scientific, which not in his world, but it is. It's subtle energy physics, which I have a doctorate in, and of course I've written over 35 books now, 5 courses. I've been on the CNN, the BBC, and written articles. I've been on many radio shows. It goes on as I'm an expert in this field. I have a doctorate in subtle energy physics, the only one out there that has that, as well as a doctorate in the occult sciences that crosses into this field using subtle energy physics, as most occult science does. So what's interesting is I did have a little contact with Harry, who didn't like the fact that I was an occult scientist, particularly at that time, which is something that everyone should embrace because that's what we're all living in now, quantum physics, otherwise known as the occult sciences, which now all science buys into and says, well, yeah, that's right. We were wrong. The physical world is not physical. Newtonian physics are backwards and goofy. We're going to go into quantum physics. And that, of course, is where we're at. And of course, it's working well, and that's where every scientist has been able to prove quantum physics. But we won't get into that. But this is a very interesting book because he talks particularly about one of the proven circuits, which is the Hieronymus circuit. Galen Hieronymus was a radionic practitioner who made many types of machines for many years. And I had his original machines and his diagrams, or the way that his products were actually made and patented, are well known to those out there who study this. And I have a modern machine of his, and I also have one of the original ones that he made from the 1950s, which is based on tubes. And I will be showing these on YouTube in the near future. We're working on our own extremely advanced machines, which are based on photonic energy. So, but this book goes into that, and you can certainly, while some people the ignoramuses out there, which are everybody, would like to argue with you, but here's something written by a scientist, a very well-known one, a person who worked on rockets, who had this long history of this professional background. You know, it's hard to argue with this. You know, the dumb bunkers and the idiot skeptics come out and say, well, this isn't based on... And who are talking? Clown college graduates, magicians with criminal records and odd sexuality. We have convicted felons, clown college graduates. I mean, it goes on and on. These are the dumb bunkers and the skeptics. So when you get someone like this, it's very hard to argue what is stated in this book. It's a fun book. He gives you a mechanical plan to actually build one of these machines, meaning he tells you how to build it in a simple manner using physical components. He also gives you an actual diagram, which is part of the lore of all this stuff, that the diagram is an amplifier and will help you manifest as well. Now, he built both of these, and he gives you diagrams and easy-to-follow instructions. Just about anybody can build these. He talks about the bizarre nature of energy forms in terms of just writing, and he shows a very unique and interesting way of how you can empower someone or unpower them. What's the word for that? Weaken them. By just using a simple drawing. Yeah, that's in the book too, and it's a great book. He shows you both ways of doing this, so you can easily, with this book, make a simple Hieronymus machine that you can experiment with. Now, he's done this. He claims he cured his daughter of acne and other problems, and found this technology to be quite amazing. When I wrote to him under my occult science stationery, he wrote back to me saying this has absolutely nothing to do with occultism, which shows you how ignorant he really is. He also stated that he'd be there to help people, and of course he's dead now, but the bottom line is he certainly didn't help me, who had an organization interested in it, and I don't think anybody else contacted him looking for that, so he didn't bother to participate or do anything. But of course, that's very typical of prejudiced science, of closed-minded people, and of course he was quite wealthy, so he didn't really care about getting involved for any kind of profits, but certainly was not altruistic and looking to help mankind. He wrote this little book, which was a pretty good seller, I guess. It did go out of print even when he was alive, from a small, I think it's Mountain Press, from a small press that published this. They also made little psychic energy wheels and had a few other similar type books, all of which has disappeared, including the press. So it is a very interesting book, and it's nice to be able to read something that is fun, gives you practical information, and is written by a pseudo-expert in this field, because he certainly was not an expert in the radionic psychotronic field. Certainly not an expert in any area of this. He experimented with it out of his own interest. I believe he also wrote science fiction books, so he kind of liked some of this. And there are a lot of scientists who like the science fiction reality of things and have delved into fiction, and so it means they're thinking beyond just the common proven to be wrong Newtonian physics, that the reality that we live in. It's pretty sad and closed-minded, especially now because we know that it is wrong, that everything really is based on the principles of the O field. The O field which intermixes with the P field. So these are the fields that create everything. And this is the type of technology that connects to these fields that you can then mold into use for your own personal self. So there isn't a better book than this. This is the #1 book. I recommend it to everybody. This is the book you should read so that you understand this entire fascinating field, because this really is the future. This really is the type of technology, the type of energy fields you'll be accessing to really achieve everything from making physical objects as you condense O fields and get them more and more condensed until they form physical objects, to keeping them in a certain vibrational state, which will create things like prosperity, influence, and all the things that are less physical, but nonetheless very powerful fields that you need within your life and that affect all matter. So all of this is a great introduction, and this book will do it. Mind Machines You Can Build by G. Harry Stine. This is available all over the web. I would recommend people do a particular search. I'm not sure anybody owns this book anymore, so there are PDFs of this floating around. It's not in print. So it's one of those things that you should grab where you can get it free. Those people who are in the all access membership of Success Tech have access to this book for free in the library. So do check that out. Do see what's online, because there's lots of these hanging around that you can get for free. Until next time.